intelligent free will creatures like us who can know God and love God. That's what the book says. He is no respecter of persons. Once we get that, we will start to appreciate the value that he puts on each and every one of us. And maybe we will start to put that value on each other. That's my hope. And that's what the Urantia book gives every person that ever read it. If you didn't love humankind before you read the Urantia book, I will guarantee that you will love him. You will love humanity after you read it.
It's true.
And you will be devoted to making a difference in this world for not only your own children, but for all children who will ever be born on this planet. And you will see that we have a responsibility to them to make the world a better place, because we have a goal, and that goal is evolution, and that goal is what the Urantia book calls light and life. And it says if we could be, that there are worlds who have already made this great journey, and they've already evolved from here, from primitive humans all the way to the last and final stage of evolution, to light and life. And it says if you and I could be transported to that world, settled in light and life, we would think we were in the heavens of our traditions. We would think we were in heaven. If we could go to a material world like this one, only one that was settled in light and life, one that had evolved to the apex of their spiritual evolution. And that's where we're going, and it tells us how we can get there. It's very specific. Tells us what steps we need to take, what steps all worlds need to take. We're not, we're not unusual. We're like a child. I like to tell people we're like a child. Imagine this. Our child psychologists, they know children very, very well. They know that at 1, a child should be able to start to walk. At 2, a child should be able to start to talk. By 4, they maybe are learning how to tie their shoe. Children are very predictable. Well, to these beings in the universe that have lived for eons of time and have watched countless worlds like this one evolve, worlds are very predictable too. And they say that there are 7 basic epochs of evolution, and they characterize each one by certain great achievements in each one of these epochs, from primitive humanity all the way up to a stage they call light and life, which is utopia, what we would call utopia. In our dreams, we've dreamed of it. The Urantia book says it's not only possible, it is going to happen. It definitely will happen. And Jesus told us the same thing, right? Jesus told us, the words I speak to you today will one day rule this very world. That's a promise from somebody who would know. He also said, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. He didn't say they might inherit it. Maybe they will inherit it. No. He said they shall inherit the earth, the meek. Why? Why will the meek inherit the earth? Well, because the warriors will have killed each other. The warriors would have killed each other off by then, and that's all that'll be left. That's my theory. My grandma told me when I was a little girl that she saw a feud when she was little. She crossed the prairie in a covered wagon and lived to see men walk on the moon, and that all happened in one lifetime, one short lifetime. She was born in 1892. She witnessed a feud between the Hatfields and the McCoys, and she never forgot it. Always talked about the bloody man. They were washing off a man in a sluice, and he was covered with blood, and it had such an effect on her little mind. She was 4 years old at the time. She told me, did you ever wonder why there's not many Hatfields and McCoys left? She said it's because they killed each other off. So blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. The Urantia book likes to say things like this. Your planet is a member of an enormous cosmos. You belong to a well-nigh infinite family of worlds, but your sphere is just as precisely administered and just as lovingly fostered as if it were the only inhabited world in all existence. Do we feel like that? We feel like we're alone. We feel orphaned on this planet. We wonder if we're even, the only ones in all of creation. Here's all of this space out there and all of these galaxies that we found with the Hubble. By the way, that particular, what I've just read to you and the two previous quotes I read, those came through in 1933, long before the Hubble telescope, long before we humans knew what was out there. Can you imagine that all of this creation, all of these suns, all of these galaxies, many planets, and they're all just out there to sparkle for us at night because we're the only beings in all creation, just us and God, and that's it, and Jesus and some angels. No, that doesn't make sense. Right. You got to think about this stuff. The Urantia book helps you think about it. And in fact, it gives you some, real concrete information to ponder about creation, how big it is. And here's another great one. There is in the mind of God a plan which embraces every creature of all his vast domains. And this plan is an eternal purpose of boundless opportunity, unlimited progress, and endless life. And the infinite treasures of such a matchless career are yours for the striving. The infinite treasures of a matchless career are yours for the striving. Tells us where we're going. They have a hard time even describing how beautiful, how amazing the next stage of existence is for us. So we have a lot to look forward to.
We do.
And we don't need to be afraid anymore. Fear is the trait of an animal. Fear is the mark of the beast. Don't be afraid anymore. You have nothing to fear. Don't be afraid of life, and don't be afraid of death. Live courageously, loyally, lovingly upon the face of the earth. Make a difference. It's yours to make, and the choice is yours. You don't have to read the Urantia book to do this.
That's true.
The Urantia book will inspire you and encourage you, but you don't have to read it to be a courageous and loyal human being, and to be a loving human being, and to be a godlike human being. Do you want to be like God? You want to get to know God better? How about angels? You curious about angels and what they do? I've never found anything more complete than the information in the Urantia book on angels and what they do. They're not just messengers. That's one of the things they do. Oh, but there's so much more than that. They're the master record keepers of all time and eternity. Everything, even your thoughts, they've made records of. They serve us in so many ways. The Urantia book says that we are more like the sons of God and they are more like the daughters, which is interesting. You know, a lot of people criticize the Urantia book for having paternal language in it. But they try to explain that they're dealing with some conceptual poverty here. And so they're doing the best they can. They say God is father-like. God is also mother-like. And there is a divine feminine as well as a divine masculine. And in fact, it's all contained in this one great reality. God is the first great source and center of all things and beings. It says things like, you know, concerning equality, because I'm a feminist, no big surprise. I believe in women. I believe that women are powerful people. I know that. I know they are. And I think that it's time for women to take their place in the world because our voice is sorely missed. There's an imbalance here. Let's face it. Women need to step up and be courageous. Yes, men are more physically powerful than us, and it could cost us an ultimate price. You know, they could kill us if we stand up, but we must stand up. We must stand up for the truth. We must stand up for morality. The Urantia book says Women have always been the spiritual torchbearers and the moral torchbearers of the planet. And in my experience, that's true. The Urantia book says that as they view worlds, they don't even, think of them as being out of barbarism. That's pretty primitive, by the way. Barbarism is pretty primitive in their mind. They don't even think of them as being out of barbarism until one sex ceases to tyrannize over the other. So it's a matter of consciousness. When we insinuate that to be like a girl is a bad thing, what are we really saying? Are we denying half of our own nature? The feminine half? Do we not all have a mother and a father? Do we not come from both? Are we not equally feminine and masculine in our hearts, in our nature? Do we not need to nurture a gentleness, a kindness, a softness, as well as a strength and a security? Both are vital. Both are essential, which is another very critical part of the Urantia book, and that is balance. Balance, not extremes, not liberal and conservative, and you can't have both. The tyranny of or. It's either or. No. It's the beauty, the majesty of and. Both and. You can be both strong and gentle. You can be both liberal and conservative. It says that the beauty of Jesus was his beautiful symmetry, his matchless character, his poise, his dignity, his strength, his compassion. You can see how balanced he was, how a strong, robust human being could be kind and gentle, nurturing. So that's another thing they hold up for us, balance. If God is at the center of all things, we need to be centered, focused on being centered, balanced, not extreme, not to one extreme or the other. Find our balance. Realize that it's not either or, it's both and. I have a couple more quotes for you guys. Deborah Lee, I can't hear anything anymore. I don't even know if I'm still on.
You are
I hope
still
I
on.
am,
Yes,
but I can't hear you, so I just want you to know that.
Well, sorry
that's
about
why
that.
I'm just going on, and
Please do.
I'll end when I have to leave. So, are you there, Sue?
I can hear you.
Okay. Kind of the sound went down. So, did you want to ask me anything?
I'm sorry, we are having a little problem right now. I just lost your sound.
I can't. You went back out again.
Can you hear me now?
I don't know if this is being recorded or not.
We're just.
If it isn't, then that's fine.
It's being recorded. It is being recorded. But this is public access TV, and we're just learning here. So I suppose that we have lost the connection, and Paula can't hear us any longer.
I can hear you.
You can hear me.
Yeah, you fade in and out, but I can hear you now.
Yes, well, I don't know exactly how this show is going to come out, but we'll see. Well, I'm just so thrilled to have had you, Paula. Truly, you're lovely. You're very inspiring, and I do this show. It is my only intention, really, is to tell people about the Urantia book and hopefully have them check it out.
Are you going to wrap it up now, Deborah?
Yes. I think we're about ready to wrap the show up.
Okay, before you do, just let me add one more thing. The last part of the Urantia book is the life and teachings of Jesus. Mm-hmm. The entire Urantia book explains who he was, past, present, and future. It's the most incredible, beautiful, complete story of Jesus you'll ever read. It's not a different Jesus than the Jesus we've always had. It's the same Jesus, but way more of him. So if you read nothing else, read part 4, The Life and Teachings of Jesus. It's absolutely exquisite.
Namaste.